I got there after 2 years and 5 years. Before the job began, they told me this true story. Celine Dion's son was meant to become a singer like her. Everyone thought he would sing. His fans thought he would stay in the music business. Rene Charles had other ideas, though. He finally told the truth about what he's been doing behind closed doors when he was 24 years old. For years, the family didn't say anything. His mom was worried about him. His dad, who died, would have been shocked. But Rene Charles no longer cared about their fears. He's been very secretive, and Celine has been very protective of his privacy. What he said this year shows why. Her birthday is March 30th, and she was born in Charlemagne, a small town close to Montreal. She was the 14th child and the youngest. Her mom laughed that there wasn't even room for one more spoon because their house was so full. It was always loud and busy because 16 people were living in one house. There was no leisure or quiet place. Everyone shared everything and was always moving. The world Celine lived in was crazy, and she had to feed almost 20 people. Her family lived in a poor, noisy, and crowded area with a lot of other families. In the end, she said, they didn't know they were having a hard time because everyone else did. She didn't even have a crib ready for her. They put her in a dresser drawer full of blankets when she got home from the hospital. It wasn't a strange choice. They had no other choice. There wasn't any extra money or room for baby items. At that time, the typical Canadian family made around $6,000. The Deans, on the other hand, made a lot less and had a lot more kids. As a child, she had to deal with boundaries and make tough decisions. Space didn't get bigger as she did, it got even tighter. Celine shared a small bed with several sisters, and there times when there were 3 on a mattress. The house was so full that people slept on the floors, couches, and even in the halls. Afterward, she said that every night the girls slept squished together like rats. It hadn't been like this for a few years. It went on through her teen years. Not like most Canadian homes, hers felt like a village full of people. Her dad was a butcher and worked long hours for not much money. Her mother stayed at home and took care of the house and made clothes out of old clothes and scraps. The family was living off of scraps, not cash. But even though things were hard, there was always music in the air. Her dad sang. That's how her mother got her name. It came from a song. They named her Celine after a French tune that they loved. It was almost like a secret wish that their little girl would bring that song into the world one day. The world outside wasn't nice, even though there was love and music at home. Celine was made fun of all the time at school. She didn't look like the other kids because she was thin and had big teeth. They said she was a vampire. Not once in a while, but every day they teased her. According to Celine, the bullying hurt her deeply and she will never forget it. She remembered how scared she was when she walked into class because she knew what was waiting for her. Pictures from her childhood show a shy girl who looked like she didn't know who she was and was trying to hide. Things didn't get better when she started singing in public as a teenager. The newspapers in her area made fun of her looks and called her Canine Dion because of her teeth. Even though she was only a child, older reporters laughed at her. People were noticing her voice, but the news stories were mostly about how she looked. She had had enough by the time she was 18. There was a quiet break. She went to get braces, caps, and teeth work done, and then she came back ready to be seen for what she could do, not how she looked. She had never been happy at school. In simple terms, she once said, "I hated school. It wasn't just the rough play. It didn't feel like her place there. Her home was where she really learned. Her brothers and sisters taught her. The dinner table was her school. It wasn't books or chalkboards that taught her how to sing, act, and stay alive. It was the people around her. The Dion family didn't give up even when money was tight. They really did form a band. It included all 14 kids. They played at small places all over Quebec under the name Dion's Family. Celine sang in her parents' piano bar when she was only 5 years old. People didn't treat her like a curiosity. She took part in the act. She had written and recorded her first song by the time she was 12. In 1973, at her brother Michel's wedding, she sang for the first time in public. It wasn't just for fun. I had to stay alive. The shows made money. Another important thing is that they gave Celine a stage. At school, she felt small, but in the family basement, she felt safe. She didn't hang out with friends after school. She would go home right away and start making music with her brothers. Their basement turned into a safe place for her. It was exciting and loud, with music, laughing, and singing. That's where Celine found her voice, in the basement. It's where she used her pain to get strong. She sang every note as a way to fight back against the people who made fun of her. In June 1980, a little girl and her family went into a nearby studio. They had just enough money saved to make a model. It wasn't anything fancy. Her mother and brothers helped her write a few simple songs. Most kids that age were still learning how to ride a bike. This girl, though, was thinking about something else: music. That day, she sang into a studio mic while her family was nearby. She didn't know it, but it was the first step on a road that would eventually reach hundreds of millions of people. What began in a kitchen would one day be heard in stadiums all over the world. Therese, her mother, didn't just believe what she said. She put everything on the line. It cost her family a lot of money to send that demo to a guy named Rene Angel. She picked him because he was in charge of Jeanette Reno, Quebec's most popular singer, and Celine looked up to her. The family only had enough cash for one tape, though. Everything would be over if it fell into the wrong hands or was thrown away. They had 14 children. Their dad worked as a baker. It wasn't just a guess. It was all they had, and that tape made it some way. Rene looked at it. He heard more than just a song. He heard something new. He said it was the best voice he had ever had. Some say he cried. Some say he just sat there in silence, shocked. Everyone was shocked by what he did next. His loan on his own house was over $100,000 at the time. He did this to help her pay for her job, a 12-year-old girl who had never been on stage before. He didn't care that his friends thought he was crazy. He thought she was already a rising star in Quebec by 1983. It wasn't until 1988 that she won Eurovision. She was just getting going. Their first meeting wasn't set up like a big show. Rene didn't even have a real microphone when the Dion family showed up. He gave her a pencil and told her to imagine she was singing in front of a huge crowd. She didn't think twice. She stood there with a pencil in her hand and sang Ce n'était qu'un rêve like it was the most important thing in the world. Rene was shocked by what he heard. He told her afterward that she sang like 10,000 people were in the room. The truth is that there were only a few family members and a manager there, but that moment set the tone for her future. Celine put out 9 records in French between the ages of 13 and 18. A lot of teens were stressed out about tests or school dances. It seemed like Celine was always making hits. She made history in France when she was 15 years old by becoming the first Canadian artist to get a gold record there. Love or Death was the name of the song. Celine Dion kept a secret from everyone when she was only 18. Rene Angel, her 44-year-old boss, had become very important to her. The difference in age would have been enough to make people talk, but there was more to it than that. She put a picture of him under her pillow and looked at it every night while she slept with her mother. She felt sick to her stomach because of her obsession. Thought about him during the day. She was having trouble sleeping. She knew it wasn't possible. In the past, Rene had been divorced twice. He was old enough to be her dad. She tried to stop, but she couldn't. Even though it was against the rules, the feelings got stronger. Her family didn't know until her mother did. Celine's biggest fan has always been Therese Dion. She helped her get her first job. She thought her voice was real. She was shocked when she learned that her teenage daughter had fallen in love with a guy almost 30 years older than her. Rene wasn't just more mature. She had known him since she was 12 years old. Therese thought it risky and even careless. She talked to Celine, possibly thinking that the crush would go away soon. But Celine didn't give up. She stood her ground. She told her mom, "This is a free country. I can love anyone I want." Her fight wasn't just about how she felt. She was fighting to be free on her own. No one was going to stop her. When she turned 19 the next year, everything changed. What started out as a secret crush turned into a real friendship. Their first real date took place in private, without anyone else being there. They kept their relationship a secret for years. Family and close friends were the only ones who knew. They were careful. They were aware that others would judge them. They were ready to wait because they loved each other deeply. They hid right out in the open. He was still her boss and teacher, but their relationship kept getting stronger behind the scenes. When she was at the height of her early fame, she made a shocking choice. For 18 months, she was out of the public eye. It wasn't a big deal. There was a plan. She did things like get braces, change her hair, and learn English very well. She was done with being a kid star. She aimed to be world-renowned. The break started in late 1986, and she was a totally different person when she came back. Even though her speech hadn't changed, everyone could tell that she looked different. Then her life changed in one night. She won the Eurovision Song Contest on April 30th, 1988, in front of more than 600 million people. She was only 20 years old. It was electric to watch. Maybe she wasn't singing for Canada, but it didn't matter. Schweiz beat the UK by 1 point, 137 to 136, when all the votes were counted. After that close win, she became famous all over Europe in an instant. This was the last French-language song to win the contest. It was called Ne partez pas ça, ens moi. And Celine, who used to be a shy girl from Quebec, was now a star across the whole continent. She took her biggest step yet in 1990. She made a big splash with her first English record, Unison. In the US, it sold more than 1.2 million copies and was certified silver. There were 7 silver awards in Canada. It was very rare for a French-language artist's hit song, Where Does My Heart Beat Now?, to get to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. But Celine made it look like it was easy. She won Juno Awards for Album of the Year and Female Vocalist of the Year for the album. Now she wasn't just a Canadian star, she was quickly becoming famous in pop music around the world. The Tonight Show with Jay Leno was her first big American TV show that same year. Leno looked straight into the camera after hearing her sing live and said she would have a great future. That moment was important. That wasn't something that had been said before about a new French-Canadian singer. After all, it turned out to be right. She was able to do things all over the United States after that one TV appearance. After 2 years, the Wall Street Journal, which is you,